My name is Kate Kazlo, and I own the Home Market and Kate Kazlo Interiors. My big thing is quality. I don't want anything leaving this store or being installed into a customer's house that I'm not proud that it's leaving this store. Our big thing is we really design for our clients. There's 3 of us on the team. So myself, Ashley Evans, who is a senior designer, and then Julia Jansen, who is a wonderful designer on the team. She is phenomenal with drawings and renderings, which I think is wonderful for our clients to see. I'm so passionate about my business and most of all my clients. My clients and guests and people that come into the store is my favorite thing and what's driven me for 18 years.
Kate, thank you for having us at your beautiful showroom, and we look forward to talking more about your business. Tell me a little bit about when this space came about and how you thought to open a store when people are moving to smaller studios or working from home.
Absolutely. I've always been downtown in the 3rd Ward for the past 18 years. I love this area. I love the historic buildings. Sometimes I think I'm a little bit of a glutton for punishment because it's not like I'm building out a new space, but, we had to take an old garage here and transform it and, make it pretty and light, so people would want to come in here and, not have to remove cars that were in here. The person who owns this building is amazing. And she is really passionate about kind of renovating spaces here. And she had come to me right around 2020. I still had a couple years left on my lease. And she's like, I've got this great project. She's like, would you ever be interested? And I'm like, I'm not sure if it's going to work out. And then as the project developed, I was like, yep, this is going to be my final space, my final home, and where we're moving the Home Market and Kate Kazlo Interiors.
And so you've always had a retail component to your business?
Always had a retail component. Started out in 2006 with the Home Market, which sort of evolved. People would come in and they loved the feel of this store. They loved the style. They loved the aesthetic. And they were like, I want my house to feel like this. It's that kind of morphed into then we can help people with design. But I've always had a retail space. I love the retail component of it. I love people walking in. I kind of always wanted it to be that people could take a little piece of the home market, a market. They could take a little piece of home with them and kind of make it feel like their home.
So now is design the primary focus or is retail the primary focus?
It's so funny that you should say that. No, design is definitely the leader over the retail. But, I think with our space and kind of with our market, something that's really interesting for us is we sell a lifestyle and we sell, we're really working and designing for our clients. We also carry furniture that isn't something that's inexpensive. It is something that, we're hoping people have for a lifetime. Quality is really important to me. So I think for us, it's really great to have this space for people to see furniture, sit in furniture, see the fabrics, and kind of be able to walk the showroom.
Yeah. And you have heirloom quality millwork here, which is important to show people the difference in quality.
Yep.
And beautiful tile and some light fixtures. And everything's for sale here, right?
Everything's for sale. But yeah, if it's not bolted down, it's definitely for sale.
If it's bolted down, it's extra.
Yeah, if it's bolted down, it's extra. If it's bolted down, we'll make it for you. So everything is custom.
Great.
So yes.
It's a beautiful space.
Thank you.
Do you find that most people who come here are repeat customers or you're getting a lot of new foot traffic?
I would say in this space, we don't get a ton of new foot traffic. I mean, we love it when somebody's like, oh my gosh, are you brand new? Then I'm like, oh my gosh, we may be capturing a new client or new guest or fans of the team. But I would say it's more repeat clients, word of mouth too.
And tell me a little bit more about your background in design.
Absolutely. I went to UW-Madison and actually studied graphic design and fabric design. Started out in Chicago in graphic design. And I was like, gosh, this is just not creative enough for me.
Sure.
So I started working with a company actually based out of Los Angeles called Shabby Chic, Rachel Ashwell Shabby Chic, and just moved up with them. So started in Chicago with them. Then I moved out to Los Angeles and became the director of retail sales. moved around, was in New York, San Francisco. I had a really wonderful career with them and learned a ton, not only on the design and creative side, but also managing people, working with clients, working with high-end clients. I learned so much, but this is always home. I grew up in this area and I thought, gosh, I've been on the road for 8 years. I really want to come back home and I really want to kind of open my own store and do it myself. So moved back here in 2005, and in 2005, 2006, got my business plan together, took it to a couple of banks, and I was just like, I know I can do this. Failure is not an option. I want to bring really unique things to Milwaukee. And so that's kind of how it all started.
Took out a loan. You have a lot of confidence and more than I do.
I did. And my happiest day was when I paid it back, but that was very exciting. But it was a lot of hard work. There was a couple of years, 2008, 2009, where it was hard. And, for a while, it was just me. So I worked 7 days a week here by myself. Yep. Then my sister came on and she's still on the team, but just a lot of kind of grit and hard work. And I'm so passionate about my business and most of all my clients. I think my clients and guests and people that come into the store is just my favorite thing and what's driven me for 18 years.
Well, that certainly comes across. So take me back to the first time that you knew that you had a passion for design.
Oh gosh. I mean, when I was a little girl, my mom and my grandma would drag me along to antique stores, any design thing. I mean, my mom was like, if bordered wallpaper is in style, she was like, we're putting it up. Between, my mom and my grandma, they were just really into design and they were really into changing things up all the time. And I was always like, oh, I'll come. I love it. So I especially like shopping for antiques. My mom and my grandma shop for antiques all the time. And I loved it. I thought it was so fun to find treasures.
Now, you talk about your mom chasing trends.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that your work is on trend or you're trying to strike a balance between classical? How do you approach design?
I always sort of feel like we kind of live by and in here coin the term fresh traditional. I truly, truly believe that you can add little pops here and there of trendy items, a color here and there, but I am really tried and true on classic style. You're making investment in your build out of your home. And I think it's something that should last a while and you should not come in there a year later and be like, oh gosh, I'm sick of this. So, as my mom would change wallpaper and little things here and there, I think the base should always be classical, traditional, and fresh traditional.
So you start with great bones, pops of stuff that can be changed out,
mm-hmm.
and then keep it fresh that way.
Yep, absolutely. But I think of the bones of the project should be classic.
Great. And we do as well. I mean, in heirloom quality space,
mm-hmm.
we never want to see someone again for the same room. We do love to work with people that have the same ethos as we do to make sure that people are happy in their space and don't feel like they have to spend that money again because it leaves sometimes a sour taste in people's mouths.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Maybe it takes a little time to wait to put in, like you said, the heirloom quality or, really well-built things, but I'd rather have you wait the time to be able to do that than put something in and you're changing it in a year.
Yeah, we talked about this off camera, but I just want to reiterate it that our preference as builders is to have people spend the extra money on the envelope of the building.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe later we can come back for beautiful casework or to add more crown molding or something like that. But you can't replace your windows easily and well.
Mm-hmm.
And to have a beautiful exterior to your home informed by the interior. And then someone like you can continue down the road with the family as they evolve in their careers
mm-hmm.
by adding more components and upgrading things that weren't there. But we can plan for it
mm-hmm.
at the outset and put the rough-ins in.
Absolutely. And I think even when we do design and even really like anything in my store, I mean, we carry hundreds of items in here. I think my big thing is quality. I don't want anything leaving this store or being installed into a customer's house that I kind of personally wouldn't have in my own space or I'm proud of.
Yep.
That's always been like something that's really big for me, that I'm not like proud that it's like leaving this store.
Can you tell me a little bit about your team and the services that you guys provide on the design side?
Absolutely. First of all, I think that's the one thing I am like so proud of and love coming in every day. We have such an amazing team. And it's a team. We all work together. We meet with clients is kind of how our process works. We meet with clients. We find out, what they're looking for, what their needs are. And our big thing is we really design for our clients. There's 3 of us on the team. So myself, Kate Kazlo, Ashley Evans, who is a senior designer, and then Julia Jansen, who is a wonderful designer on the team. She is phenomenal with drawings and renderings, which I think is wonderful for our clients to see. Everybody has a little bit different taste and take on how they work with clients. But, our number one thing is customer service and how we can make their space special.
So when someone has a Kate Kazlo interior, can someone walk in and say, Kate Kazlo did this? Or are you really looking 100% to the client to inform the interior design style and the building?
I think a little bit of both. I think, we love to obviously, bring our expertise and design into the project. We also really like to listen to our client and what they're looking for. I would say if somebody's looking for a super ultra modern contemporary design, I don't think they'd be walking through the door. And it's probably something I would say there are better people out there for. But just because we show pretty neutral design, it's not that we haven't worked with super, super colorful clients.
Sure.
We love that. We love that challenge.
Post-pandemic, we've seen the boom in pets and children as well.
Mm-hmm.
Are you seeing a lot more performance fabrics and other things in your practice?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's like the number one thing that performance fabrics, bringing the outdoors indoors. No, it's huge that people want something that is indestructible. They can spill on, easy to clean up, but still looks great.
Yeah.
So there's a huge surge in that.
How does the client relationship work? So when I call Kate Kazlo Interiors, what should a client expect?
We always want to have the first meeting here. And it does usually include sometimes all 3 members of the team, sometimes just a couple of us. But we want to meet with them and really listen to them and see what exactly they're looking for and how we can help them. That first meeting is pretty in depth. We may be looking at plans with them, really talking to them about what they're looking for overall. And, at that time, we also, like to talk a budget and investment range to see if it aligns with what we think we can do for them. We then, put together a scope of work for our clients, everything that we'll do in the project and what we're going to be bringing to the table. And then from there, we do a site visit and, really look at their space or really sit down and sort of hammer out some of the details on the building process. We love to get in soon.
Yeah,
if we're working with a builder or architect, it's better for us to come in sooner rather than later.
100%.
Not that decisions have been made. I think we as designers, have an influence, and it's just better to get the conversation started earlier rather than later. So that's sort of how, just briefly, a project gets started with us.
Now, on that initial meeting, have they already retained you? And is there a fee for that, or is the first meeting complimentary in your space?
The first meeting is complimentary in our space. We really want to find out if, we're a good fit for them and they're a good fit for us. So, the first meeting here is, us asking a lot of questions, taking a ton of notes, and just really feeling, we want everybody to feel like they're making an investment in us, not only monetarily, but, you're also working with somebody in their closest space. So, we want to make sure that this may be a year and a half project, that it's really a good fit for both parties.
And there's a lot of trust, and you get them into your store, and you get them into your store to see the beautiful things that you've done, which is almost better than a portfolio.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, this acts as another portfolio. How we curate the space and put things together. So
it's been a reoccurring theme in we're build only contractors. You're an interior designer who doesn't build. So amongst our community, there's not a ton of us. Usually in Milwaukee, people have been pushed towards design build, and we always encourage clients, regardless of whether we work with them or not, to come to the table and start with a designer an architect and a builder all at the same time, collaboratively working together to make sure that we're on budget, that the exterior and fenestration matches the interior, and that the interior informs the placement of the windows and other details. How important do you think that is, or do you come in later in projects and still see success?
We have come in later on projects and still see success. However, as I said earlier, I think starting out, getting the team organized, starting out right when the project's about to begin with all of those, with the architect, with the builder, and an interior designer. And I think it is sometimes more fun. I like how you said, I like coming in as like an outside, rather than, and kind of assembling that team. I love that. I think it's just, we've come in later in the project and it's been successful. I would have to say it's so much better when we come in at the start.
100%.
Yeah.
And we feel the same way as builders. If people, many times, especially architects, have designed something without the budget in mind and maybe never even asked about the budget.
Yep.
And it's just so crushing to people. And the project either ends up demoralized and upset with the architect or with the builder, just because, we can't make magic numbers just because you wish that the project could happen.
Yep.
But also, it's just so much better to align people's expectations from the beginning. Those of us at the high end of the market, we deal with big numbers all the time. We're not here to rip you off. You can look up our reviews, but it is important that we actually do know your budget so that we're not designing or trying to build something that is just not right for you and your family.
I've always said that. And I know sometimes, that it's kind of a taboo thing, but I always think it's so important setting expectations clearly, especially with the budget. You want great design, but you just want to make sure that you're completely aligned with the builder, with the client, and that, we feel like we know what we can do for furnishings and interior design and what the budget's going to be, but we just want to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Before our first meetings, we encourage people to have an idea book, and whether it be on Houzz, Pinterest, or Instagram, or even clippings if you're a senior citizen from Architectural Digest.
Hey, I still love magazines. And
I do too.
Yeah, I still love magazines. Like every Saturday and Sunday, I am like, to my husband, I'm like, you just give me some time with my coffee and my magazines. So yeah, I love the inspiration of that.
So we encourage that. And then we also encourage people to talk with their spouse, if you're married, about your budget, because that's really the sticking point that we find most often, is that there's the expectation from one side of the spousal arrangement that has one budget expectation and someone on the other. And we end up mediating that disagreement at the meeting. And that we encourage that conversation to happen before we get there. I don't know how you do that, but I love the secrets. Yeah.
No, you know what? We don't do that, but it is always important that, like I said, I keep on saying, everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
I mean, so many times in like the design world, it's like you said with trust, we're not only like designing and creating a beautiful space for people, but, there's some therapy that comes along with the
100%.
territory that, it's just life. And, this is a long process that you're doing with people. So just getting all that stuff up front is so important.
What does a dream client look like to you?
No budget. They're like, do what you want to do. I mean,
and I'm going to be
every once.
Yeah, I'm going to be in France for the project.
Yes. I had one project early on where clients said, here's the keys. There wasn't a budget. They were like, we just don't want you to call. Like, we don't want to be involved. I mean, it was really fun. There was so much stuff that happened behind the scenes. I mean, everything's not perfect, but they were like, we want to come in at the end. They want the reveal. They were like, we don't want to hear about the problems. They're like, just get the project done. They
want to bring their toothpaste and underwear. And
pretty much. And that's pretty much what they did. But I mean, that was really fun. That does not happen all the time. But I think our dream scenario, our dream clients is the clients that trust us, that are like, I'm coming in, I'm buying in. I trust that you will want to make our space beautiful, and the decisions you're making are the right ones. So that's always our dream scenario. It's really just trust.
We want people to realize that builders are not a commodity and interior designers are not a commodity either, that there is an investment in quality and that there are different tiers of quality. And you clearly have invested in a space taken out a loan when you started, which most people would never have done. They would have started from their basement. And that shows that you're really invested and you're here to stay. Yeah. And you're going to be there to support them when there's a change later or as builders, if there's an issue later.
That is always something that I love to see. We just had a client come in this week. They're on like their third house. There was some work transfers and things like that, but I mean, they're still coming here. They're still coming here and buying new things. They're like, oh, we took everything that we've ever bought from you and we're moving it into this new house. And I love that.
Is there someone who inspires you in the design world, or is there something that inspires you?
I honestly have inspiration from all over. I love to travel. I love to go to New York. I love to see different architecture. My husband and I, like when we travel, I love to see historical things. I think sometimes if I'm looking in the past, because I have such a love for vintage and history, if I'm looking at something in the past, it just makes it like, how can I bring that into my design? So I think that's what really gives me inspiration. But like I said, I love magazines. I love architecture and I love going to historical places.
You can come and see my Architectural Digest collection at our office. We have every episode ever made all the way back to the 50s when they only made 4.
No way.
4 a year. It was,
that's
amazing. It was a quarterly magazine back then. So
okay, well, I'm going to take you up on that.
If we zoom in to a few decades from centuries, design does repeat itself, but it's all informed by classical proportions, and that's why those archival books are so important to us.
I love that. Yeah, I have been very lucky to, in the last couple of years, taken a bunch of trips to Paris. I could walk around the streets, look at different architecture. I think every time I go there, I go to Versailles. I just find it so unbelievably amazing and much more detailed and ornate than I would do, but it's just the craftsmanship, and I love it so much.
Parisian stuff has been trending on Instagram for the last 5 years. Do you think? I
feel like 18 for me. I mean, I've always.
I've only had Instagram for 5 years, so.
I know. I feel like I love like a little touch of it all the time.
But do you think it's overdone?
No.
No. Okay.
No, because I think you can definitely mix little bits and pieces here and there.
But I feel like there are places where parquet floors don't make sense.
No, but maybe like a Louis Philippe mirror would. So
100%.
So I think if it's just like little bit here and there. Okay. I think there's times where you're like, the parquet floor needs to go. It's usually the first thing but no, I think just a little piece here touch, and there. Sure. Yes. Yeah.
Now, are there any other trends that you think need to go away or that you won't do?
That we won't do.
Will you give someone a barn door?
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it depends.
If they don't live in a farmhouse? Or a barn?
I mean, what if it's like a cool metal?
That's like an industrial fire door. We call that. That's
okay. Well, I don't. It wouldn't be my first choice, but I mean, again, we listen to clients. Maybe there's this door that can't swing out or something. We're trying to save some space, and we can't do a pocket door.
Okay. This is why I don't get to interact with clients and why I do business to business relationships.
Okay, I don't know if this is a trend, but disposable furnishings, kind of. I mean, 100%. I would say, invest in good lighting, do really nice window treatments.
6-inch cans need to go away.
Yeah, 6-inch cans could go away with like the kind of yellow, you know what I mean? That all of a sudden the trim like yellows.
Part of the Levante construction difference is we scuff them, oil prime them, and paint all of the trims.
Amazing.
So they're part of that. Unless they're plastered in. And we're trying to move to the visual comfort plastered in cans in general, so that there is no trimming. That
is so amazing. No, I think like disposable furnishings, that needs to go.
Okay.
Yeah, that needs to go. You need to invest in nice things and not
buy once, cry once.
Yep. I love that.
I agree with that. So we were talking about you searching with your mom for antiques. Are any of your products, or are you sourcing anything that's antique, or is everything bespoke coming from something?
No, I mean, we not only do we have lots of custom handcrafted items that come from all over the world. My probably passion is I love scouring the country and overseas for vintage one-of-a-kind pieces. I love that.
And do you typically buy those for the customer, or are they brought into the store's inventory and then they can purchase them? Okay.
Yeah, both.
So when you have a contract with someone, you'll go look on a sourcing website and ask them if this works and put a hold on it?
Usually what I do is actually kind of go all over the country when I'm doing these buying trips and meeting with, some of my like vintage dealers and buyers. Not only am I looking for pieces for the store, I'm constantly looking for pieces for clients. And since we have like long relationships with clients, I'm like, this console would be perfect. We need to get it. Send them a picture. What do you think? I love to see and touch things rather than maybe go online and buy things.
So this is a sourcing trip. It's not First Dibs.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We have found great things on First Dibs, but I love to do sourcing trips and I love to see things in person and touch things. And
it's usually less expensive as well.
Yeah.
First Dibs is a premium price.
Sometimes I feel like we do a lot of antiques from France and Belgium, but yes, I love to see and touch things. And I think that's one of the things that's important about having the store, that people can come in here and see and touch. And
one of our designers we work with goes to France twice a year and fills up shipping containers and brings them home, which is, I think, an incredible way to take a vacation on the company dollar.
It's amazing. It is amazing. Once I learned how to navigate doing containers and bringing them over, it was so exciting. So, hope to do another trip to the south of France, but yeah, it's amazing.
Rugs right now. Been having this conversation. I get so excited about rugs because they take sometimes years of people's lives to make. Yeah. And they're not on trend anymore and can be had for very inexpensive prices. Is there any other like hidden thing that people can buy now for a fraction of the price that they used to that you would incorporate in a project?
No, I mean, I think, because we do like so many vintage pieces and one of a kind pieces, they're just getting harder and harder to find. I love those incorporated in a project. There's new upholstery and there may be a new coffee table, but if you throw like a one of a kind vintage piece in there, I think it makes your room feel really curated and special. And they're just getting harder to find. So I don't know that I have any secret. I do think for us, like the Ushak rugs and the vintage rugs, again, I think it's just like a one-of-a-kind personality that you can bring into your space. I think they're not that expensive. I think it's just a great way to, like I said, throw something unique into your space. And they're wool, so they're easy to take care of. They should last you a lifetime. Maybe if there's like some worn spots in there, I just think that gives it beautiful character. So I love that. Would maybe be the thing I would say.
Rugs.
Yeah, is rugs.
Watch out for the moths though, and have it cleaned professionally.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Moths can ruin your house. How involved are you in construction administration, or is that not something that your firm offers? Are you involved throughout the entire process when you're doing construction projects?
Yeah, we are usually involved. Like we are involved throughout the whole process. We like to keep clients completely informed on what's going on up until we're installing the pieces, fluffing the last pillow, making the bed. We're in it. We're in it for the long haul and we're in it the whole way through.
What percentage of your work is construction and what is soft goods?
Depends on the time. Right now, our construction is like, I feel like it's like 75%.
Yeah. We
have a ton of new builds. We have lots of projects that we're starting all over the country, starting from the ground up. So, it depends on the time.
Back to a word you used, which we don't use at all. And I want to talk more about it. And you used the word investment. Milwaukee is a Midwest town, heavily Germanic, more cost conscious, and often a little more conservative than the coasts are. We've gotten away from talking about an investment because people think about monetary investments. And there are very few markets in Milwaukee that appreciate beyond inflation. So with us, we find it to be an investment in your happiness and an investment in your lifestyle and how you live and your enjoyment with your family. But do you think that in your practice that there's a hang up with high-end and luxury items because it may not make resale sense for your house? Do you find that is the case?
I honestly find that people are looking to invest in their space. like a bedroom. I mean, it's where we spend 10 hours, 8 hours, 6 hours, whoever, I don't know what that sleeping pattern is, but you spend like a lot of time in the space, and you're with your family or you're with yourself and you want to feel happy in the space.
What's your favorite restaurant?
Oh, Birch.
Birch?
Yep.
Birch is on the map.
Birch, number one. Yep.
I'm always hungry when I leave Birch.
Oh, really? Gosh, I love it. I love it.
Great food.
Great food.
Great wine menu list as well. They have natural wines, which a lot of other places don't.
Birch is number one. I feel like if you want to get the burger, sit at the bar, that's amazing. I'm going to go second. I don't even know if we get a second here, but I'm going to go Mason Street Grill.
Okay.
I could Mason Street Grill bar.
The chopped salad is the best salad in Milwaukee.
The best in Milwaukee.
Kate, I wanted to thank you for having us at the home market.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, and we look forward.
Such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
To the coming year. Thank you.
Thank you.